Hey everybody. Have you guys ever heard the saying, measure what matters? It's just this concept of don't spend your time measuring things that don't matter, but if there's things in life that really do or in business that really do matter, then measure it. And one of the things that I think is most important in our spiritual life is how much freedom we have in Christ. How much do we feel like we've actually been forgiven? How much do we feel like we've been set free? How much is our identity in who Christ says we are and secure in that? And how much are we still caught up in what other people think of us and trying to live for their approval? And all of that I think we can clump together as freedom in Christ. But sometimes I think that's something that's really hard to measure. Like, how do we figure out where my freedom in Christ level is? So, for me, something that I've found that works really well, that I think is a very good gauge and has a direct correlation, is this. If I'm in conversations with people and they ask me how I'm doing, the level in which I share to me is a direct correlation to how much freedom in Christ I'm experiencing at that time. If I'm completely secure in my identity and who Christ says I am, and I'm doing good with that, then usually it's really easy for me to share pretty vulnerably and pretty openly with other people. But if I'm struggling with my identity and I'm not experiencing much freedom, then it's usually pretty hard for me to be honest and open with other people. So this week, as all of our lives, for the most part, are so full of Zoom calls and phone calls and everything else, what I would like for you to do is take inventory and check and see when someone asks you how you're doing, do you just respond with I'm good or I'm fine? Or are you honest and open with where you're at? So this week, when someone asks you how you're doing, don't say I'm good and don't say I'm fine unless you're actually good or unless you're actually fine. But instead, try to be open and honest and vulnerable. And I would even say, go one step past whatever you're comfortable with. Whatever your normal response, whatever your comfortable level of response usually would be, go one step past that and see if that doesn't have a significant influence on your freedom in Christ and how much you feel like you've been set free from those struggles.